Back in the days when animals just roamed around talking to each other like you and I, there lived a little chicken, affectionately known by all her friends as Chicken Little. Chicken Little was not what one would consider
especially smart,
but she had a curious mind and an openness to new ideas. So one early summer day, when she was out strolling under the leaves and was hit with an unseasonably early falling acorn,
"What the blazes!"
she exclaimed,
"We're weeks away from acorn fall.
and she thought to herself,
Maybe this climate change thing is a genuine concern after all."
the acorns were falling earlier each year, and it seemed like, despite all the obvious evidence, there were a lot of animals who refused to take any real responsibility for changes in the weather. Chicken Little, however, wasn't going to just ignore the problem, so she started out slowly, replacing her car with an EV. She bought her own reusable shopping bags to the supermarket and started shopping at quality second-hand stores.
To try to reduce the amount of rubbish and carbon.
Her lifestyle generated. But even with all her efforts, an acorn dropped onto her head even earlier the following year, and she knew she would need to.
Step up my energy.
So she set off, with a bag of native tree seedlings to gorilla plant on her way, and took her concerns to the rest of the neighbourhood, and onward to the king of the land. The first of her friends that she came upon was the posh Cocky Locky.
Where are you off to, Chicken Little?
She asked.
Why, I'm concerned about the sky changing.
Said Chicken Little, and explained that the scientific consensus is that our continued release of stored carbon
In the form of fossil fuels.
was causing our atmosphere to retain more of the sun's heat, resulting in more extreme weather and a less hospitable planet,
Whoa,
said Cocky Locky.
that sounds pretty mental.
But she liked the convenience of her single-use plastics and her big Ford pickup truck for boat towing,
I'm gonna set this one out.
she said. So Chicken Little continued on her way. The next friend she came across was Ducky Daddles,
Where are you off to, Chicken Little?
The climate is changing.
said Chicken Little.
I'm looking for animals who care about our future generation.
But Ducky Daddles was just as ambivalent about the whole thing as Cocky Locky.
Nah, not for me.
She said.
The politicians can sort that out.
Chicken Little, undeterred, continued to tell as many animals as she could about the threat projected by the early falling acorns, but, like ostriches, they simply put their heads in the sand. They refused to demand any real commitment from the king and other ruling classes to proper regulation, and scorned any individual efforts as
Basically a waste of time.
due to the relative size of their own carbon footprint. Goosey Poosey, Turkey Lurkey, and others simply dismissed Chicken Little's compelling arguments and the obvious evidence, and continued to march towards their oblivion. Despite her little size, Chicken Little did, however, convince some animals, and over the years she convinced several that,
Many small change adds up to big change.
and along with others, she moved to more sustainable habitats and found great joy in living a conscious life with a small carbon footprint. So when Cyclone Foxy Woxy arrived some years later and totally flattened Chicken Little's old neighbourhood and completely destroyed the lives and belongings of Cocky Locky, Ducky Lucky, Goosey Poosey, Turkey Lurkey, and the many others who had dismissed Chicken Little's warnings. And then the king was unceremoniously dumped as part of a coup that also removed the selfish plutocrats who themselves had conveniently allowed the climate damage to occur as they continued to make their billions. Chicken Little lived out her days,
Healthily and safely.
knowing that sometimes even something that seems little can become a major problem if it's just ignored.